everyone, and welcome back to Flag Focus. Here we are again at the beautiful venue in Düsseldorf, Germany, and I'm joined by not one, but two hosts today. I have the one, the only, Kenny Bello, who is wearing different glasses today because you may notice that he doesn't need eyeglasses anymore. And then the one and only Phoebe Schecter has decided to join us from her Great Britain travels. We have so much in store for you in this show today. We really, really, really want you to make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and supporting this show as much as possible because we really want to spread the word about Flag. That's what we're here for. We're all playing the game that we love, and we want you guys to be a part of that. So, today, Media Day, day one. Everyone was out in full force today, and it was so nice to finally get the opportunity to see all the teams and all their rosters. How was Media Day for you, coach, player? How did you find it?
Media Day is always a lot of fun. It's always a bit of a frenzy, a bit of a scrum in there. We had the Mexican women's team in there before us as Team Spain Women. I think Team GB Women's had been in there before as well. Always a bit loud, but the noise adds to the excitement.
Absolutely,
and
it does, yeah.
The setup, I'm sure people will see it in the clips, but the setup in there was so colourful, so bright, so professional. Really gave a chance to feel like, part of a real professional, because we're not at that professional level in the sport just yet, but it made it feel like a real media day for us as we went through.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time that we've ever had anything like that. And ultimately, from the time that the teams arrive, you go and get your headshots taken. Then you go into the actual media center itself where there's social media section, there's a 360 camera, you've got your kind of alleyway of people to do interviews. And even having the IOC out here just adds so much value and just really brings to life the realness and excitement around this. We do our passport checks at the same time. And then separately, there were NFL were doing their clips, getting ready for their next big video that they put out. And, it's just been incredible. And I know talking to teammates and other athletes here, there's never been anything like this for flag football. So you get those nerves, you get that excitement, but then ultimately you step into it and you're just with your team and you're talking about flag football and people are recognizing that sport. And I think that's what's so special for all of us.
I've been ticking off my bingo card. So NFL films, if you're listening, it's one of my bucket list items. I need to get on one of those videos at some point. So, hey, hit me up. I'm here. I'm available. I'm here all week.
Absolutely. And I think as well, it's just really important to hone in on the energy. Like the energy this morning when the teams walked in, every team just brought with them just such a different dynamic. Like Brazil, I think, is a brilliant example of that. The women's team walked in, they had a speaker on, they were all in their sliders, they were dancing, they were singing. And I just think having that energy really builds that excitement. I know we keep using that word and saying how exciting this is going to be, but to see those teams and those players coming in, it's still something that's so special to them with the opportunity to be here, I think is really beautiful to see.
Yeah, and for a lot of us, we've not actually had the opportunity to interact with some of these continental winners. American Samoa is like one of the great examples of that. And it's the cultural kind of references. You look at the different uniforms everyone's wearing, and Australia, for example, how it ties in. Japan, I mean, that's what this is all about. And today's the perfect day to be able to meet other teams, meet other people, have those exchanges. Or for a lot of people, hey, we've been following each other on social media and now you're a real person and I get to see you in real life and we can exchange pins and photos, and it's just an awesome event. I mean, they've done such a great job putting this all together. Absolutely.
And to that very point, there's a gentleman around, I hope we caught him on film, with a rather big chain walking around. You will know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Super big, but it's things like that, to that point where it's people you might see on social media, recognize them. But it's also, there's a bit of, I call it the gorilla chest pounding going on, because this is the first time that teams are seeing each other. So, some teams you want to be a bit loud. You want to show that you're confident coming in. You don't want to seem timid and nervous. So there's a bit of jockstering, is that a word?
Yeah. Juxtaposition, maybe. Juxtaposition. I mean, it's interesting you say that, and I know maybe there's some things that I could probably comment on that you guys maybe can't, but even this morning with media, you had a lot of teams turning out in droves, all of their coaches were here, all their players, but there were some teams that walked through, I don't know if I'm allowed to name them, but there were some teams that walked through and they only had 2 or 3 players that actually came to media day today. So it's a very different approach, and they were quite quiet and they left quite quickly, whereas you got some teams that were there for hours, like France were there for ages having the best time. I think I want to say it was the Swiss team and Japan were playing a game of like musical chairs in the middle where they were singing and everyone was joining in and dancing, and like that is just such a credit to the community. But I also think it is, like you say, very, very interesting to see the different approaches from different teams and how they're clearly trying to focus themselves and get into that moment at the moment.
And I think it's so incredibly clear when you walk into there, you can't help but see that it says LA qualifier everywhere, right? I mean, that's a huge part of this. And it is, at the end of the day, a business trip. And we know there's teams out there that are having their phones taken away until after the tournament. And it's about mentality. Like, how are you showing up? So, yeah, we might just send a couple players because we need the rest of you focusing on what's going to happen tomorrow for the first day of games, which is just, I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? It was just be here to win. Something bit me.
Got attacked. Just as she said, here to win. Here
However,
to win.
countries.
Perfect.
Perfect segue there. So we were amazingly lucky today, and we managed to get the opportunity to catch up with Pierre. Now, if you don't know who Pierre is, he is the head honcho, what we call the Don Dada of IFAF, and we managed to catch up with him for an interview today. Take a look. Okie dokie, we are lucky to be joined by the one and only Pierre, the head honcho, the ruler of this amazing event and celebration. There is so much excitement around this event and qualification and everything that, you know, it means to be here this week. You know, selling out your billboards, especially in the airport when we landed, is so incredible.
You saw that?
Yeah, it was so
Okay.
incredible to see. Has it surprised you to see how much energy and excitement there is, like, for these games this year?
Well, I mean, it's always, first of all, it's always surprising, not from, you know, general, I would say, visitors, but from the athletes per se. You know, I've been there for a few hours now and see their eyes and their excitement. Some of them were here. You know, when we started all of this journey with IFAF, I mean, talking for me at the World Championship in 21, and of course, it's not just a one step; it's a 10 step ahead. So it shows where we are right now, and it just gives you somehow the excitement to look where we will be in the future. And this is really cool. But yeah, the city branding, athlete excitement, the venue looks great. This is such a cool moment for all of them.
Absolutely, it is. And I think it's really important that you mentioned, you know, the future of the games, because leading up to sort of the Olympics and the qualification, like, what do you think the gap is between that? Do you think we are hitting that level now with players, athletes, coaches, or do you think, you know, there's like a little bit of a gap, and what do you think those steps need to be in order for us to fulfill that gap to make us like
There's still so much more to come. When you look at the landscape, what we did the last 6 years is huge. And you know, congratulations to everybody involved, and you know, the staff and the medias, and you know, friends and partners, the athletes. Obviously, everybody's here, but beyond everybody's story, there's family, there's friend, there's sacrifice, there's federations, there's all of this. So I'm very excited to still tell people in 10 years it's going to be even bigger. Like, we are, all of this journey since the announcement for LA have definitely created a moment.
Yes.
And it's up to all of us to make it a movement. And that movement will take us, obviously, in 10 years and beyond, you know, our ambition after 2028. But this is everything is built on the building still. And I'm you know, be a part of people that can witness this. And this is a very, it's very privileged to see all of this going on.
It really, really is. And, you know, like, what, as a federation in that case, you know, like, we definitely need to be pushing to make it a movement. Like, what do you think IFAF needs to get right in that gap between now and the Olympics to really make this a movement, as you say?
Well, I understand that the pace we have been on and the train we are driving is very fast. And it's we are one of the youngest international federation in the Olympic movement. Lucky enough to be still one of the youngest presidents. Only cricket got me on the line.
You're a youth.
So we're still there, and I think we still have a lot of work to do toward 32 and to get that you know, process up and running. But the next big, I think, step is going to look like all of those new federations joining us.
Yes.
Like now IFAF reaching 80 members. We still aim for 100 by the end of the 2028 year. You're going to have to make sure that we support our members, that we help them to grow. You know, we built referees, we build coaches, we have all of those school programs that popped up all over the world.
Yes.
We need to make sure that those millions, 20 millions players and new coming and kids and little boy and little girls coming in are not just here because of the current high, but they're here to stay with us. So making sure that we close that gap, that we help our federation to grow, to become more efficient, more relevant in their domestic countries is really important. So whenever we're going to be in a place where it will be time to look at LA and to look at beyond, it will also be time to close that and to really enforce how we help our people to maintain that pace for the future. Long after all of this is, long after I'm gone, long after those athletes might retire, they still need to look back and say, hey, I was a part of a movement that is still growing, that is still going strong.
Absolutely.
That's very important.
And talking of retirement, I couldn't stand here and not mention the fact that I believe me and you share a common position in tackle football.
All right.
So I'm a left tackle, and I do believe that you may or may not have been in your prime a lineman.
I've done my fair share of blitz pickup and pass protection and so on.
So what position were you and how many years did you play?
So I started to play when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
Coming from a small city in France called Châteauroux, which didn't have any young, youth tackle program, obviously. I think if you dig on the internet, you'll find a picture of me during that time with a helmet and a
dig on the
shoulder
internet,
pad.
guys. We're gonna find it.
It's an easy one. You will find it. But I started to play flag because there was nothing else to do. But then, I moved to basketball and so on. Was a big guy, so I moved on to the offensive line.
It's always the way.
I played in France, finished in Austria, played a bit abroad as well. So I was an offensive lineman for all of my career. Even though coming from basketball, I had that great dream to play tight end.
Yeah. Same.
Right?
Exactly the same path.
And then at the beginning I was like, hey, this guy can catch. This is cool and stuff.
Let me be a returner.
And then all of a sudden the coach come and be like, this is great, but we're gonna need to get that quarterback really well protected. So we're gonna move in this.
And you're never sure whether to take it as an insult.
And you get upset at your coach, right? Like I could have scored, at least give me one touchdown, but nah, it didn't show up. So I move on to the line. So I played right tackle, I played right guard.
We're perfect pair then. I'm left tackle, right tackle, perfect pair.
That works. People behind are safe.
Absolutely. So then, last question for you. Sort of coming from, I know you said you started in flag because there wasn't very many opportunities, but thinking about tackle, and there's so many players out there who play tackle and maybe aren't as aware of flag or the community in which it has, what would be one phrase or sentence that you would give to them to sort of tell them about what this is and what this means and how it sort of sets up both flag and tackle potentially?
It is football. When you look at, there is beach volleyball, indoor volleyball, 5 basketball, 3 basketball. Flag is football, right? And right now, we just joked before, football is life, right?
Football is life, it's true.
Okay, yeah.
Danny Rojas, it's so true. It is.
So it's the same sport. You have one-hand catch, touchdown, amazing spin move. All of it. We are part of one big community. And I was a part of the kids that started played flag and move on to tackle. And I still play. Still coach flag in the local town and hidden in the mountain in Austria, being a part of the local
they don't know who you are
like,
with sunglasses on.
Yeah, I do. It's so fine. And everybody know, and it is okay. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm really easy. But I think it's one big football. It's like you need a quarterback, you need an offensive lineman, you need sports for the kids, you need sports for the adult, you need sports for the fan, you need all of this comes together as one community, one football.
Absolutely.
And this is what this is all about. This is one football.
Absolutely. Pierre, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I know you are absolutely swamped with.
I see you around in the next few days,
you
right?
Will absolutely see
you guys got an exciting program coming up.
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so exciting. I hope you're tuning in. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. See you about.
Cheers.
Thank you. So, as I'm sure you all know at home, and as we definitely know here, and clearly Pierre knows as well, football is life, and that is ultimately why we are here. Danny Rojas, thank you. Ted Lasso, Series 4. But that is ultimately why we are all here. And we had such an amazing conversation where we were talking about sort of the development and also just the development that IFAF has made in the last few years. Since 2021 to now, we're looking at how different the environment is. Like, look at where you're playing. Like, look at how amazing this setup is. From that to, you know, what does it look like in 4 or 5 years time? What does it look like post Olympics? I know, you know, we're really building up to 2028, but that gap between 2028 and 2032 is a really, really long time, and we're building towards it. Like, what do you think that looks like for you, and like the future of building towards that?
Absolutely. First of all, I don't know who they paid for the sun, but they need to keep up that contract, keep it going, because it's perfect weather, absolutely perfect weather for it. On a serious note, I think it's definitely making sure that the growth, the development is continuous, right? You cannot find, you know, if there are bits, stagnation is kind of like, can be the biggest enemy, or you can feel like, oh, look, we've done this now, we don't need to do any more. It's finding ways to improve, finding a way to, what's the next thing? What's the next thing that makes it better? What's the next thing that makes it bigger? You know, is it more shows like this? Is it having similar level of organization at the continental championships, and making sure that those are all at a super high minimum standard? You know, that's where it needs to go to, because as we've kind of discussed already, there are so many cultures, so many stories to tell, that it's about how do we keep showing that global growth to the whole world, so that everybody can see that growth as it goes through.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because one thing that Pierre did say, which really, really stood out to me, and I love the way he phrases it, he said that he wants it to be a movement, not just a moment. Wow. And we have a lot of really, I know, honestly, it should be a rapper. But he was just saying that there are a lot of amazing things that happen. There are a lot of amazing events, a lot of amazing players, a lot of amazing interviews. But how do we take all of that and push it forward to actually make this a movement, so it carries on going, so the train carries on rolling? Because 2028 is great, 2032 is great. What does 2036 look like? What does 2040 look like? Because ultimately we're building for that future pathway, right?
And I think the building, and you talked a little bit about it with Pierre, it's about, okay, what does the foundation of your house look like, right? And they've started to do that. Ultimately, they've had to be doing that over the past few years before we even knew that flag was going to be in the Olympics. And that's, now you're building out your athletes committee, your EDI committee. You're starting to get all the standards that are essential in order to be an Olympic sport. And there's more and more, probably from a national governing body perspective, that's going to play a role, whether it's, for example, in the USA, you've got Team USA. Here we've got Team GB when it comes to Great Britain, but working really closely with those governing bodies who are help then to get your organizations ready for that next level. Because yes, we need this sport to get to the next level, but it doesn't matter if the sport's up here and actually we're still here as amateurs. We need to be working as if we're professionals, and that is the holistic approach to the athlete and the coach and the whole organization. You know, your S&C, sports psych, nutrition, what does a daily life look like? And that's where I think it's great when you look at countries like China, who've actually almost given themselves a head start in that situation. When you look at the fact that the teams are living together, they're playing flag every day. It's like you're at a flag university ultimately, right? And so you have your coaches brought in, and that's sometimes the question. So you've got the officiating side of things, which is being developed right now. Yep. They're getting to a level where, hey, they're going to go through physical tests. They're going to have to be at a certain standard, and it's setting those standards. Because once you can be very clear with that, then going forwards, it makes the rest of it really easy.
I think there's got to be, speaking of those national governing bodies still, there has to be such a strong commitment to the grassroots level. Yeah. Because, as you know, it's one thing to work with the top kind of 1%, 2% of players in the country, but how do we keep those players coming through the pipeline, keep them growing, keep that player pool growing, so that there are more and more players to pick from, more body types, more skill levels all the way through, so that education, as Phoebe said, officiating, but also coaching education is a big part of that helps to bring that all through for all the specific teams.
Absolutely. And, you know, like talking of this pipeline, you know, how we're just going to build those players and build up those foundations was actually something that we were really reflected on when I spoke to Ashlea Klam earlier on today. And it was something that was quite, I guess, impactful in Team USA when they had such big roster changes, you know, from the last competition till now. And of course, we know that America's going to the Team USA, is going to auto qualify to get to the Olympics. And then we've got 2 more spots that are available for those top 2 teams, men's and women's, that are able to accomplish, you know, some amazing stuff on this field. But I think that's definitely something that we really have to think about, is how we are growing those players and how we are making, you know, the future of football better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to look at the fact that you've got all these NFL teams that are here this weekend, right? That are having a presence, that are starting to invest in the grassroots. I love here in Germany, you've got those boxes by the fields where you can scan a QR code. You've got access to a football, because it's all about getting a football into a kid's hand and letting them just go play and have fun. But yeah, I mean, that's what's exciting about this.
Just remember to put the ball back. If they put that in Peckham, I don't know.
It's true.
Big hit in it.
We had the pleasure of speaking to Ashlea Klam earlier. She is the Centre for Team USA. Hello. So we are lucky enough to be joined by the one and only Ashlea Klam for one of our interview segments today. And there's just a few questions that we want to ask her today, especially considering how amazing this event is and how incredible it's going to be. And, you know, of course, we're working up to the Olympics and qualification. And the first one that I really wanted to ask you was, what is really exciting you about this tournament? I know, of course, the fans, the amount of people traveling, but I mean, from your team specifically and maybe from other teams, like what really excites you about where these games are going?
I think one of my most exciting things, well, I have two. So my first one is just seeing this team play together. I don't think anyone has seen anything like it. Honestly, we're such a special team. Like, we have such a great bond, and so I'm just really excited to see this team play together. And I'm also really excited to not have to play against our defense anymore, because I swear to God, those scrimmages we have scout, it is always competitive, and they are just such dogs. So I'm really excited to not have to play against them anymore. In my opinion, they're the best defense in the world. So I'm just really, really excited to see them and just cheer them on. And then my second one is I have my family here. So I have my mom, my dad, my aunt, my grandma, and then also my trainer, who's been training me since I was in the 6th grade. So having him out here, he's been to a couple of my college games, but having him out here, actually traveling, all my family, having them travel all the way to Düsseldorf, it's just really exciting. And so I'm excited to, have our team put on a show for them.
Amazing. And you mentioned that this team was really special, and I know, especially from the last roster when we last saw you guys compete to this one, there's been some really big changes. And how has that affected your team and the dynamics sort of going forward? I know that there's been a lot of change in your roster from the last time we saw you until now. With that being the case, how do you think the team is going to be different this time? What sort of impact are they going to have when they come out this time round?
Like I said earlier, I really do feel like this team is so special. We've had so much time together, and I think honestly that's one of the biggest changes. USA Football has done a great job this year at figuring out what do we need, what needs to be changed amongst the organization side. And they've done such a phenomenal job at really just catering to us and catering to the athletes. Not that they didn't do that last year, but it's just, I think it just shows how great of an organization whenever they see something needs to be changed and they're able to do it. And so I feel like, we've had so much time. Aaron Rodgers, he donated a lot of money to our organization. And so that added 2 extra training camps, which we didn't have last year. And so I feel like that's also really important to note, that we've had a lot of time together. And so I'm just really excited to kind of see this special bond that we have created on and off the field.
Lovely. And I know a lot of your team are sort of younger, especially when, sometimes in women's football, I know especially in tackle, you can get an age, it ends up as an aging program, and, you see those players retire and sort of, go off to live the rest of their lives. In terms of sort of that growth and that future development, do you think you are watching the future now being developed, or do you think you are part of that future and that's sort of this is the baseline of the direction in which the sport's going to go?
I mean, I feel like USA Football's done a really good job at creating a pipeline. Obviously, we have our junior national team, and my first year on the team, I was one of the junior national teams selected who aged out of 17U and made it to the national team. And then the next year after that, it was Macy Johnsich. And then the next year after that, we had another younger girl, London, join our team. And then now, we have Akemi Higa, who joined our team from the junior national team. So I do feel like, it has been such a great job. They've done such a great job at creating a pipeline, and I feel like we've definitely been using that. And so, obviously, I would love to be a part of those future teams, but in the end, USA Football, they're going to pick the best teams out there. And I'm just really proud to, create so many new memories and just live in the moment of this amazing team that we have.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Thank you so much for taking the time to catch up with us today.
Of
really
course,
appreciate you always.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. It was really lovely to get an opportunity to catch up with Ashlea. I don't think I've actually caught up with her since the NFL Celebrity Flag Game, so it was really nice to have a conversation. She wasn't wearing any chains today, though. I was a little bit disappointed. But even just, what she had to say, she has so much insight into sort of the game and, the development of it and the growth and how much it has become such to use that word again, a movement in terms of where it's going and where it's heading. And it was amazing to have the opportunity to catch up with her. But we are about to head down to the opening ceremony for the excitement surrounding the first day of the game. So we hope to catch you down there later.
gotta run, go, 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 go.
So we are here with the one and only Sebastian Vollmer. Now, we all know how successful this man is. 2-time Super Bowl champion, second team All-Pro, but also he is an offensive tackle, which we all know is very close to my heart. As a left tackle myself, it is amazing to have the opportunity to meet you. So hello, welcome to the show. I just really wanted to talk to you sort of about flag and how sort of momentous this occasion is. And I know you've come from a place that is so well publicized, and it must have been such a crazy jump from where you were before to, you know, skyrocketing to the top of your career. So in terms of like success and, you know, the path there, what do you think these athletes really have to do to push this momentum, this movement forward to get to that real path of success at the top at flag?
I don't think I would put this on any one individual's shoulders. I think obviously we've been training for this moment for a long time, so I think every athlete should be confident, should be at ease, you know, and kind of know this is what I can do, this is what I will do. I think that's part of it. And then you kind of mentioned it. I mean, we started, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and it was nothing. We started with one school in Hamburg, and now we're in hundreds of schools. We got the World Cup here. So all this has been amazing. And it's only going to grow. Obviously with TV, media, we're talking, all that stuff. So this is going to catch on. In different countries, it's even more popular. If you go to the States, obviously it's every park, everywhere you go,
Yep.
YouTubers are playing it. You know, it's everywhere. So I don't think the athlete just, you know, perform, just do what you can do, and then obviously the game gets better, and people will see it and be excited about it. But I don't think you should go into this and thinking like, you know, I'm gonna put it on the map. Like, because of me, flag is gonna go, you know, even bigger.
Absolutely.
Just do your thing, and you know, I can't wait for this weekend.
Of course, and Olympic qualification is absolutely huge. You know, what kind of honor is it to, you know, have the opportunity to represent your country at this level? You know, that everyone's competing, and what should they really be looking for in terms of, if you want to be that Olympic representative, what are we looking for in those teams? What's going to set them apart from everyone else?
Well, when we started this, again, long time ago, and I remember like the NFL was talking about grassroots programs, we got to get flag involved, they got to get us in schools and all that stuff. But now I think there's a real highlight, right? This is not just fun. It is fun. However, I mean, you can be an Olympic champion, you can be a World Cup medalist, you can do so many different things. You can get scholarships, you can go into tackle football if you want to, you can stay into flag, you can get into coaching schools, whatever it is. I think all that is amazing, and it's taken a great path. And obviously, once you take the next step to like the Olympic Games, and then the world is watching, right? I mean, obviously, this can only propel you, and who knows, for German kids, you know, go to college like I did, or some of the other guys that are here. I think all those are great opportunities, and you never know what's going to happen, right? It could be one play that sets you apart. It could be one meeting with a coach you might have on the sideline, whatever it is. So part of it is enjoy it, but be professional about it, right? I mean, you don't know where the opportunity is and when you hit it until, you know, later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then last one, just because I know you are a professional yourself, do you think that flag football scratches the itch after retirement of tackle? Do you think it kind of gives you that fix per se of like football, or do you think that tackle still has a real soft spot in your heart?
No, I mean, I'm a tackle football guy, gotta be honest. But I'm also like size. I think if you're a lineman, almost like the same in tackle, right? When you grow up and when you first walk in there and your coach is like, how do you be a lineman? You're like, oh, come on, let me catch the ball, let me do something, right?
Absolutely, I said the
and then
same
you
thing
kind of
earlier.
love it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fun. But I think it's sort of the same with flag. Obviously, it's cool if you're the quarterback, the receiver, or running back, whatever.
Yeah,
Like
you get all the cool
Yeah,
shots,
exactly.
and there's just us like,
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I did my thing, but I don't think I could do it anymore. And it's quite impressive how athletic these guys are, from what I've seen here, but also on TV and stuff. I mean, it's an impressive sport.
It is really. Honestly, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. We really, really appreciate it. And I hope you have a fabulous weekend.
Oh,
Enjoy
you do too.
it.
Will do.
Thank you. The opening ceremony has come to a close. All the athletes have headed back to their hotels to get ready for game day 1. 8 a.m. tomorrow on that field just over there. There will be the first lot of group stage games. And to say we are excited is an understatement. We had the one and only Pierre Trochet kick off the games with a speech, followed by the German captains. And of course, one of the last people to take the stage was the one and only Sebastian Vollmer, 2-time Super Bowl champion, second team All-Pro, and of course, someone very close to my heart, as a fellow offensive tackle. We had the opportunity to catch up with him after his speech, just to talk to him about all things NFL, funding, the growth of the game, and of course, the fact that we're playing on such a magnificent facility with a Patriots field just to my right. We really, really hope that you guys have enjoyed today's episode, and we can't wait for you guys to tune in tomorrow. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. See you later.